many trails up the axis climb. Tap one click, I'm in just in time. Ride that wave till the rush feels wrong. Soon as color flips, I'm already gone. I win with dots when the candles run hot. Little lights in a line tell me jumping or not. I spin that wheel, but it's mapped on the plot. When the trend turns up, I win with dots. Win with dots. Hey!
Good morning. Still high, still low. Let's go. Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Good. How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? How's everything going? Welcome to us trading CPI today. A whole bunch of stuff besides CPI that I'm going to share with you today. Lots of interesting stuff going on here. So mic check, vibe check, sound check, screen check, everything check going on. All good? Everybody ready to go? Are we ready? Tony, how are you? Saber, how are you? Ben, everybody. So first order of business, there is a new indicator. None of you guys have it yet. It's in beta, but I'm going to have it on my screens because it's going to make our life a lot easier. That I'm working on, called DOTS ORB, and it's essentially creating ORB sessions, range breakout sessions, opening range breakout sessions for each session and each instrument organically. So for example, right now you're looking at NASDAQ, London session high, London session lows. What the hell is this? Didn't I? Hold on a second. I need to kill this. Hang on a sec. Wait, let me just kill this for a sec. I want to put the original ORB. No, dots ORB. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, there it is. Yeah. So this is the default view. The default view, you can see the top line is green, bottom line is red, mid is over here. It even tells you, how much each section is. This is London ORB. The range is 93 on the ORB. The half range is 47 off this thing, and it's from. No, why is this? Okay, sorry. This needs to be rearranged. That's the wrong ORB. This is why it's a little bit in beta, but it's not that big a deal. It's because we got to go to Chicago time, so this has got to be 2-3. Okay, cool. All right, this is the proper ORB in London that we're trading. Yes, correct. Okay, and you can see we're actually coming back into range on what do you call it, on NASDAQ. Probably a pretty good trade to do. It's 15 minutes ahead of CPI, so I wouldn't want to do this just because it's ahead of event. But honestly, I would absolutely take this trade. I'd be buyer 56. I'm pretty confident this is going to be a trade that will work to 75 easily. So this is going to really add a huge complement to our trading. You'll see this in New York as we get into New York. The ORB box in New York is a 9:30 to 10 o'clock box, meaning that we're boxing out the dots from 9:30 to 10 o'clock. And then from there on, it's going to just simply run those lines. And we're going to be able to trade them. I'm going to show you. We traded that thing yesterday like butter against gold in Asia, both up, down, and breakout through. So it was incredibly useful. It's basically going to give us 5-6 more setups during the day. It's an amazing additional complement to our basic dots trading. And the second thing that I did that is going to be very, very valuable. This is also not updated, but it will be updated by tomorrow. In the dots, I have now added this. I eliminated everything. As you can see, literally I got rid of every other component of it, just to keep the charts really clean. Everything can be added and re-added now. Literally everything from moving averages to tables to chop tables to whatever you want. So however complicated or uncomplicated you want to make your chart, you can do it. So I've taken everything off my chart, but I added one thing that is going to make all the difference in the world in terms of telling us whether we're trading chop or trend. And that is the moving average separation. So as you can see right now, moving averages are the short term to the long term are far apart. They're 24 basis points, and that's green. That's perfect. We want to trade. That means every signal here gives us lots of opportunity. Whereas, let me just show you what happens if I were to go over here. Let's go into replay mode. What you're going to see here is you see how the moving averages are very, very tight together. This is telling you it's red zone, not a trade. Everything is still in chop. So if I go through here, choppy, 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 no trade, all false singles, all false signals, all false signals. boom, boom, boom. Now we're getting out of chop, starting to get yellow. Now we can take reasonable trades. So whenever we get a signal now, boom, we take in that signal. That's a good signal. It's reasonable. We can try to trade that, see if it works. Boom, it works. Right over here, it makes money. Take another signal, see if it works. Boom, it works, makes money, and so on and so forth. And now we are in a wide zone where the signals are useful, right? As I told you. So this is going to make a huge difference in basically giving us as clean a view as possible of when not to trade, which is this chop. Every single signal here was a failure. Every single signal was a failure except for this one over here, meaning that it did not hit targets because it was just pure chop. And it was all red over here, as you can see. So it only started giving you signals once the moving average separated, and that's when these signals started to really work. This one worked, this one worked, this one worked, so on and so forth. This was some, I guess, some news and volatility that came out over here. As I said to you, I absolutely would have bought this if you guys weren't here and weren't looking, and I'm trying, and I was cheating, but we're going to try to stick to our rules, so I'm not going to buy this. But buying this at 53 was a slam dunk. We're back into the ORB range with a double tap move. The only reason we didn't do it is because it's 10 minutes in front of the CPI and so on and so forth. You can't enable any of this. You can't have any of this. It's not ready for anybody. I'm just previewing all this stuff. Nobody has this set up yet. By tomorrow, those of you who are in my coaching will have access to the moving average separator, which is and all of the the ability to really clean the chart. The ORB dots, that indicator is going to be coming in a little bit. But what I will do is I'll have it on all my charts during live, so you guys can use it as an anchor with me towards live. All right, so let's talk a little bit about CPI straddle. I am actually not going to do a straddle with you. I'm not going to do a straddle with you guys today because, first of all, Apex really does not. Is sent out a very, very serious letter saying they don't want anybody hedging at all, including customers, right? Not just affiliates, but customers, and I totally understand that. Now they were much more looser about this on demos, and I still don't know, if they certainly are pretty relaxed about letting demos pass on a straddle, but they're really clamping down absolutely on doing this, certainly for payouts, because that's completely cheating. So we're going to really respect their wishes and not do a direct straddle. That doesn't mean that you cannot take the idea and use different instruments to extract the same sort of concept. So my suggestion, and one that we did last time, that I think would work, would be to go long NASDAQ, short S&P, right? And the way that I would do this, let's say on a $25,000 account, my structure would be very simple. I would be on NQ, it would be 2 NQ. I would go 2 NQ long with 156 take profit. That would, if that hits the target, that would fund you. And then I would go, is it on the S&P? We want to go, if we go 2, hang on, 7.5. No, it has to be 4, right? We have to go, we can do max S&P 4. Now I totally lost my math. Who remembers the math that we did on the S&P? S&P is $50 a point. We need to hit 1,500 divided by 50. So we need 30 S&P points. So we need 15 points, 15 times 4. Yeah, that's what it is. Sorry. Okay. So we're going to go, so 2, let's say NQ long. If you guys want to do this, I'm leaving this to you. Versus 2 ES short. Oops. With 62 take profit. No stops. No stops. Just, take profits. It doesn't matter. You do or die. If you want to construct that is a pretty legit, certainly for pre-funded, for demo accounts, that is certainly a legitimate trade because you're doing two different instruments. Hopefully, Apex will bring gold back soon, and then we can actually do gold against NASDAQ, and that'll be completely sort of non-correlated and interesting trades. But this is what I would do as a structure. You're saying 3 contracts, DRD? Oh, I did last time. I did 3 with 41. Okay, sorry. Okay, let's do this. That's probably a better trade because we want to get, because it's we're either going to get it or we're not. So let's do three ESs, 41. You're right. Okay, so 3 ESs with 41 against 2 NQs, 156. I'm not going to do it with you guys because one of my evals here is already like halfway to funded. I'm very, very happy trading the way we've been doing, like all of my funded accounts. You guys can see I'm 2 to the 26s, and the third one is going to go to 26. And hopefully we're going to work on all of these. We're going to move every one of these to 26. Then we're going to move them to 26.5. Then we're going to move them all to payout territory. In the proper, absolutely no rule breaking way possible, right? Everything we do as far as scalping meets the strictest criteria of any prop firm out there, and certainly going to meet everything in trades. You have to do both trades. If you can't, because one has to be long, one has to be short. If you're straddling, in order to be able to see, which one wins. It's one of them is going to burn, one of them is going to shine, hopefully, or they could both burn because CPI could be a dud. It could just simply not have any market volatility value. Let's say it comes in flat. The thing about CPI this time, and another reason why I'm kind of backing off this event, is because it's stale data. We already have gasoline spiking in front of us because of the Iran conflict. So huge amount of this data is effectively, let's put it this way: if the data is good, it's going to be ignored. If the data is bad, then it's really going to be people are going to think, oh, if it's bad, then it's going to be even much worse now because gas prices are spiking. So I do, a negative event probably has a lot of volatility. Positive event may not have much movement up front. You highly doubt it would be flat, though. I have no idea. Last time we thought NFP was going to be good, it was horrible. I think it's going to be hot. Like my personal view, if you're going to take one direction, and again, this is just my opinion and it's a guess, and I could be 100% wrong, but the general undertone, I think, over the last couple of months, especially in PCI and everything else, has been a retrending of inflation, not a detrending, but a retrending of inflation. So my vibe, if you're asking me of what my vibe trade would be, my vibe trade would be to go short, to be short. And if you want to do, let's do just one more thing. If you want to do just one trade, then I would just go 2 NQ short. You know what? Should we do this on the 290? 2 NQ short, 156 tick. You know what? Let's just do one directional. I'm going to do just one direction because I have this one account here, 290, right? Let's go. Let's make it happen. I'm going to show this how to do this to you. I'm going to go NQ6, right? And I'm going to go to 156 NQ. Okay. So I'm going to take just a pure punt with you guys today on this one, on this demo account, on the assumption that I think the numbers would be bad. We'll see. I have no idea. We trade like 30 seconds. If I'm going to do one direction, just one direction, I'm going to do probably like 15 seconds before the event. So 29:40, somewhere around there is where I'm going to do it. But it's a pure vibe trade. So, I'm the first one to tell you, I have zero clue if the number will be hot or cold. In the meantime, that little trade, if you guys took that trade with me, or you didn't take it with me, but if you took it while I was, not taking it, really worked very nicely, right? I mean, it's a really, really clean trade. I will tell you guys, this DRB, this dots ORB overlay against our dots thing is just an incredible, incredible game changer as far as, especially being able to trade around, session starts like we did with Asia yesterday, and but like we'll do with New York today. Really, really valuable. Super, super cool way of doing it. There's a whole bunch of sequences that I do. We're not trading gold today until after, when Sam is going to come on session after we're done with straddling, and then we're going to trade gold and everything else. Just doing chart trend overall, so I'm short. Yeah. Okay. But we'll see. Let's see how it plays out. We got 2 more minutes to go. And we'll see how it plays out. I mean, they're trying to ramp it up in front of the event. So either they're trying to just trip people up into buying high so they can rip it low, or maybe they know something that we don't. We're gonna take the short route, assuming that inflation is going to be hot. But I really have no idea. Two minutes left. Oh, one thing I forgot. Look at this. Don't ever let me do this. It's 2 contracts. So just to reaffirm, it's 2 contracts, 156, no stop, right? If you go in here, take profit only. One minute left. Consensus is around 2.4, I believe. And the super core services should be around 2.7. So let's see how it plays out. Okay, at around 35 or 40, I'm going to sell this. And you can watch the last one over here. It's either going to get burnt or we're going to get done. All right. Short at 92. And we got about 15 seconds left to the event. Oh, what kind of dip was that? What was that? Oh, what happened? Ooh. Nope, we got stopped out. Hot number. We got stopped out. All right. Really, really weird move here. Wow, do you see that? That was a really crazy move. It went down 98. What the hell was that? Look at that tick. It didn't get me done. We went down. That would have gotten me done, and then it went back up. Wow. Well, and that's the danger of doing the straddle. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's why I'm glad I only did just one, but that's fine. That was very weird. Like, you saw that, right? We went down 93. It dipped all the way to 29, but did not execute me. Just did not fill me. Well, yeah, that happens. That would have easily gotten us done. Yeah, that happens, guys. That's why I told you. That happens. You hit TP in long and got stopped out on the short. So the long worked, the short did not. You know, that's why I only took one. All right. Anyways, that was fun while it lasted. We've done a million of these before. You're always gonna hit a few bumps, and that's one of the reasons why I really was not that keen on doing it today. The data. Let's see what the data actually said. Let's see what they said today. It was actually in line. That's the whole point. It was just basically in line. That was the other thing. When it's in line, it really had very, you know, it had that flush up and down with the algos, but nobody really doing much. And that happens. There was no surprise on the move, which is why, you know, the whole thing just kind of flushed out. Okay, let's get rid of this idiot over here. DRD got funded by one tick. Nice. People got funded long. Nice. All right, good job. Good job for you guys. But very weird trade. Okay. All right, let me delete this. Sam is going to come on board in just a little bit. Let's see what gold did, by the way. Gold also had a very just a, you know, non-active move here. What time is it? 8. Okay, so let's do here. I want to show you the ORB range for I'm going to set the ORB range for gold, which is going to be okay, and the London session, and we want the gold. I'm going to set up ORB, New York ORB is 7 to 8 o'clock. Let's see what gold is at. 8, is that right? Okay. Right. Okay, this is the gold range for New York, the ORB range from New York, the high to the low. Essentially, also very, very tight. Gold has been in a very, very narrow range. Basically, that 5,200 has been a super, super tight cap. So not a lot of movement over there. Nasdaq is trading down now, as I thought it might. Okay, let's see. We actually might have a trade here. Let's go take a look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq is trading down. I want to take this. Oops, let me get rid of this trade. Let's go back to my 58 account and sell market. I'm a little bit late on this entry, but you know, let's give it a shot. Hang on a second. We'll do a little bit of trading before Sam gets here. I'm really late on that trade. The trade should have been 43, and I came in at around 34. Wow, I'm really late on that trade. This is our trade. We're taking the A2 over here to the downside. I'm actually going to just move this up just because I'm super, super late. So I'm just going to try and get done. Come on, get me done. Just get me done out of here. All right, I'm just going to get out of this trade. I came in at a bad execution, so I just want to get out small. All right, let me take myself back to. I wanted the 56 account. I want to run this to 26. That's going to be the area that I'm going to look at. So on NQ, we're going to look at. Oh, I got Sam in the room. He's coming in. I'm gonna bring him on board in just 1 second. So you know, on NQ, where are we on the trade? This is still London ORB, right? We're getting white dot, green dot coming back into the ORB. If this thing stays green dot, I'm going to go long. It's coming back into the range. If it doesn't, no trade for us. Let's see. We're going to give it one more minute, and then we're going to bring Sam on board to to see how he's doing. Okay. Wait. You know what I want to do? Hold on a second. Hold on. I want. Hold on. We don't want. I just want to do camera. Oh, hold on. I'm going to take this buy market. We are in 56. All right, I'm in this trade. Let's see if this is going to work for us to the upside. White dot, green dot. Let me do my little thing here, and let me bring Sam on board. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Hey, Boris. I'm very good. How are you?
Very good. I'm gonna bring. I'm bringing on your chart. Hi, guys. Everybody say hi to Sam Saleh from Hola.
Hey, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're having a good day. Good trading day, hopefully.
We're doing well. We guessed wrong on the CPI. It was one of those events, and I warned everybody. This is how it happens. Whenever you're guessing in front of data, you're going to have three events. You're going to be right, you're going to be wrong, or it's going to be totally in line, at which point it's just going to flush you up and down. Fortunately, the guys who were long, the trade actually got funded on a couple of accounts. But
nice.
I actually thought CPI was going to be hot, and it actually printed in line, which is surprising.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, I think we all. I don't know how you feel. It feels like generally the bias is still to the downside right now. The longer this thing goes, the greater the pressure is on oil staying high for a while, and as oil prices keep pressing to the upside, I think it's going to be very difficult for the economies to kind of sustain that hit. We'll see.
Absolutely.
Wow. No, even the greatest campaigns just I think always take longer. Military campaigns take longer than people think.
Absolutely agree. But what were you trading today?
Trading NQ, and
nice.
The thing is that gold is just freaking boring. It's just doing nothing. Look at the ranges have just been horrible. Like this is an ORB indicator that I created for our guys. This is gold. This is the upper end, the lower end of the London range. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. This one over here. Oh, I'm not showing it to you because it's not on my screen. Let me share my screen.
Gotcha.
Sorry. Let me just share my screen, guys.
That's all right. See a lot of comments. Everyone saying hello to everyone. I would say hi back to everyone, but there's a ton of you. This is amazing.
Exactly. So this is gold, right? And look at the tight ranges. It's 520 to it's like a $15 range. It's just like nothing on gold. It's that's for gold. This is basically a dead day, and we really haven't broken. But one thing that happened yesterday is like gold was dead, and then like 10 o'clock New York, it really soared. So we could have moves out here. I know you. What are you looking at today?
I'm S&P? Looking at the S&P, the ES at the moment. I'm seeing something quite interesting though, actually going down right now. Normally I don't trade before New York open, but I'm seeing here is quite cool.
Yeah,
I'm seeing a lot of absorption.
Let's look at your chart. Tell us what you're seeing.
If we just look at the volume in general, so this is the delta volume, so the difference between the buyers and sellers contract wise, you're seeing a lot of sellers coming in, big numbers on the sell side, but they're not pushing the market down, leading me to believe if we get above these sellers, a lot of them are going to start getting squeezed out, especially if we get bigger numbers on the buyers. So I might actually just dip my toe in here, go in for a buy, see if we can get that extension back up maybe to the highs again, because I'm just seeing a bit of buy pressure coming in. They seem to be more efficient at moving the market at this moment in time.
It's so funny because like I was just before you, I was long NASDAQ and I was like, guys, it's back in range. Basically, everything you're saying on volume, we're completely confirming with our DOTS price indicator. Same thing. They dropped it. they couldn't break the levels down, and then they started taking up. Like when you said to me, they're taking all this volume, and as soon as they break the volume above that price, that is literally what we do with dots. It's like the exact same process, just that we're using price versus you using volume. It's so interesting.
It is interesting. It is interesting. But the danger is we are in quite a bearish market. Now, if the sellers keep piling on the pressure,
right,
which they're kind of doing, eventually it's going to break. It can break. How long can the buyers hold them off? The buyers just aren't aggressive right now. But you're seeing the sellers constantly coming in.
Right.
Let's see if they manage to break below here, then all right, fine.
And we go down.
Didn't work out. Yeah. But we'll give it, at the moment, it's a bit of a range, a little 1 minute range here. Basically, we're going flat for the most part. So we'll see how it plays out. But ideally, what we need to do in order to see this long work out, we need to get above the majority of the sellers all around here. We need to get above them and squeeze them out. Watch them actually get squeezed out.
Squeezed out at that point right over there where you're pointing to.
Unfortunately, just got stopped out on that one. There's a lot of sellers coming in still. Not yet, because it might just be.
We have, just let you guys know, we have 24 seconds, 25 seconds to a scalp short on NASDAQ on our indicator, just to let you guys know. And I'll let you know if it holds. 15 seconds, it's got to obviously hold the levels. If it doesn't hold the levels, then it's not a short. But if it holds, it'll be really interesting to see if my short would coincide with the delta signal as well. 2 seconds. Okay. We're short around 23 on NASDAQ. Let's see if this is, if we sold the bottom, which might be, or whether there's more selling to go there. That's interesting. All right.
Well, this is going to be interesting. Yeah. Because if these sellers here, these are fresh sellers. If they fail,
they're going to get
dangerous
squeezed right up there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that happens to us. If we fail, we then look for the move the other way. But so far we're holding. So far the selling, the selling is holding. Let's see if it press lower on NAS. The obvious level is a 24.9, and the session low is 24,880 as far as prices go. We are below the London ORB, so all of the stuff is giving you lots of negative vibes. To put it in the kids' language, we're getting negative vibes on our trade, we'll see how it plays out. Let's see what the S&P is.
They held well. They're looking like they're holding quite well. They're definitely defending their position here, the sellers, and they're adding more and more. And then eventually, if they push it down a bit more, the buyers are going to give up. And if the buyers give up, you
14,
get nice movement.
Delta goes to 14, Delta goes to 200, Delta goes 300. They're adding to negative Delta right now.
That's correct. Yeah.
Interesting. Super interesting to see volume and price kind of dance, step and step here. But they're holding
they're giving it. The buyers are. They're not willing to give up just yet.
No. And the thing about this is you have to understand, when we're talking about buyers and sellers, guys, and this is why I always laugh when people say, oh, there's, manipulation, there's stuff like that. Remember, the market is the most democratic institution in the world. There's 1 million participants in there. And it doesn't matter what you think. If somebody's bigger, has got an opinion different than you, they're going to change price dynamic. If there's a buyer out there who's got 300-400 contracts, maybe even 5,000-6,000 contracts that he needs to fill, he's going to absorb all those sellers, and they're going to just get squeezed. But he's clearly not absorbing the sellers. Our trade is still negative, and we're still showing negative move. And now it's 19, and we're looking and now we're printing another 19 seconds to printing another negative dot. So we're pressing lower. So this looks to us like the short is still alive, basically. For me.
Yeah. I would agree. I would say they're doing well. We never got above the sellers.
No, we couldn't get above. Couldn't get the lowest.
These guys here, they're doing very well. They're holding the market. We could never get above them. And now look, the buyers are slowly starting to.
Right.
We're breaking through.
The bids are disappearing. Like, if the bids go away, the sellers are going to just press this all the way down to 900. That's the key thing.
Correct.
You know, anything can happen. That's why this is trading, and you have to be prepared for every scenario.
Correct. I'm just having a look at the next kind of area of interest. Really won't be until further down here on the S&P 6750, around there. I mean, we are at these lows. There's going to be a lot of people obviously interested. A lot of profit taking is probably going to occur at these lows here. So it'll be interesting to see what will happen when we touch these lows in terms of the delta. Do we see a lot of sellers basically taking profit? And how will they react, essentially? Will there be a fresh wave of new sellers coming in to break these lows, or are they just going to be happy, complacent, buyers come in, and we rotate upwards again? You never know.
Right.
So always good to keep your eye on these significant areas.
No, for sure. And actually, the irony of the whole thing is, what's really important is just to be really patient here, just to you can't rush the moves.
Oof.
Our short is working very well, guys. You probably can take profits on that short. As I was saying, it's pressing. You know, the sellers
There
are
it is.
down.
Definitely saw some profit taking happening there.
Yeah.
So we saw that number spike up to negative 400 on the sell side. And remember, for the viewers, if you're in a sell, your take profit is a buy limit, which shows up, which gets matched up with an aggressive seller, and it shows up as a sell order on the footprint. So whenever you see that spike in sellers,
can you
that
walk
seller's taking profit.
Can you walk us through this a little bit slowly? You're short.
Sure.
You're looking to cover. So that means you're a buy limit. That's a buy order, but it's going to match up with an aggressive sell order over there. So
correct.
So it goes from negative 400 to like the negative 160, meaning that delta actually started turning positive at that point, right?
Yeah. So there was some actual buying happening as well,
right?
Which is obviously, you know, to be expected. Near a low, you're going to get buyers coming in, right?
But wouldn't that also be there'd be natural buyers and also short covering buyers, right? That's what flipped.
Correct.
And that's what's happening now.
Yeah. So you saw that, you know, it went to negative the moment we touched that black line, which is the low. The delta went to negative 400. That's a lot of sellers getting their profit taken, right? Take profits hit, their buy limits essentially getting executed. And then we saw that number drop right back down to negative 167. That's a lot of fresh buyers entering, trying to buy basically the low.
Right. So like when Sam is talking about drop, he actually means rise, because remember, we're going for smaller negative buy. I just want people bullish, not bearish. Like this is a bullish reversal in a sense that they held that level, the volume turned effectively positive, in net positive. And now you're starting to see them take out the highs, and now we're getting a white dot on our indicator, guys, in Nasdaq, showing us a potential bottoming turn. Now, for us to really get bullish, we'd like to see another candle of white dot green. So far we don't even have they're not even holding the white dot. So far, it's very indeterminate as to whether this is a true turn or not. But we'll know within 3 or 4 minutes if the sellers are kind of done. And if they're done, what happens is then you get this big short squeeze the other way. Where the money is on all of these great scalps is just to figure out when the wave is turning. Once the wave turns, it kind of turns pretty viciously the other way. You'll see it. But
so what I would be, what I'm looking for now is, obviously we've had a tiny bit of a pullback, right? To be expected. I want to see fresh sellers come in and start failing. So these people are all fresh new sellers, right? Because they can't be profit taking because we've already cleared the low here, right? We already went down here. Otherwise, if that was profit taking, it would have showed up here, right? So as long as we stay above that low, we know these are fresh sellers coming in. Now, if these people start failing, they're the ones going to get squeezed out, right? So I want to see, if I'm looking for a buy, I want to see fresh sellers come in, start failing, and then we trade above them. Then I can go in for a long.
Right. It's really interesting. I was going to talk to you guys today about how I'm becoming obsessed with failed setups. Including our own, like when our signal fails, it's actually the next signal, the counter trend signal after that is usually one of the most bankable trades around. And like when I'm looking for counter trend trades, what I'm actually asking myself is, did the prior trend signal fail? If it did, great. If it didn't, I'm not going to take the counter trend signal. The counter trend signal being in this case, we're going to go up because we're in negative trend. And I think it's such an interesting idea that Sam is talking about, this whole idea of fail. The whole idea of short-term trading is getting the other guy to fail, not you to succeed. It's the failure of the other guy that's going to drive all that liquidity your way, because they have to cover. They become what's known as a market price insensitive buyer or price insensitive seller. They got to get out of the position because now they're wrong. And so they'll take any price. And when they take any price, that's exactly what creates the directionality that you want.
That's a really good point there you make, because expecting that's why people getting trapped or failing, like you said, is such a powerful move, because like you said, they're forced to take action. Just like, for example, we know a bunch of sellers came in here, right? Expecting these guys to defend their position, okay, it could happen. We could drift back up. They start defending, coming in aggressive again. We could go back down. But you can't. They're not forced to defend. They could just get out a break even if they wanted to. Right. They're not forced to actually make that move. Whereas if someone is trapped and it's going against them, they are forced to exit, and that causes that they can't hold the trade forever. They have to get out, and that is what makes it so powerful. So
exactly.
Absolutely, that's a really good point you made.
That's why so many times when you see we hit like meaningful bottoms, like round number bottoms, session low bottoms, ORB bottoms, whatever, and then you sort of see, and then it just pops up. It pops up like 100 points in 3 minutes. And they just drive. They're forcing them to cover. That everybody knows the game, and the longs know that if they can just if they can throw volume at that price, they're going to be able to just verticalize the move, and obviously that's going to help them. So yeah, I mean that's the really interesting aspect about auction theory, is putting the other guy at a disadvantage. That's really the trade. So you can have it. Sam, while we're kind of watching this, people are asking me, how can you get the delta on TradingView?
Sure. Great question. So essentially, it's actually a chart type, but you need the TradingView Premium package. And then it's called Volume Footprint. But you do also need to get the CME data subscription, which you can get off TradingView. It's at the bottom of their website. There's like a little CME group futures thing.
Most of the guys already have the CME thing, because a lot of guys are trading futures. But if you're not trading futures,
and of course, it will only work if the product is from the CME or COMEX for like gold. That's fine as well.
Right.
If you're trading like a CFD version of the S&P or something, it's not going to give you the real data, obviously. And then it's as simple as just going into the settings, switching it to Delta, set up, in terms of, you can change the colors, do all that kind of stuff, whatever you like.
What's your default settings that people would be interested in? Like,
sure. So it's I like the cluster display. I don't really like the profile display, and I have it at Delta.
Can you tell them what the difference between a cluster and a profile display?
So profile just gives it like that, and it gives you basically the biggest bar is obviously the highest volume, lowest one is the low. But for me, for my eyes, it just doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't know. I like to see the numbers a bit clearer, and because sometimes the numbers will be white.
We're popping up, by the way, Sam. Looking good. I have a white dot on my thing. It looks like the buyers are going to start squeezing. I would get long here.
I think
we're like a minute away from actually genuinely getting long here. Just this could be an early long if you want.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah. I'm seeing that again. Sellers failed here at the bottom. These are fresh sellers failed. They're getting squeezed out now.
Right.
Buyers are coming in. Realistically, even if we get below those buyers, I'm going to go in long as well.
Okay.
You can have a super tight stop.
Yep.
I got in a bit late. Really should get in at those buyers. But your stop can quite literally be below those buyers. So we can have a super tight stop here.
So when I
said wrong, you would be wrong quick.
No, it was 38. NASDAQ is 55 now. It's 20 points up. So for those of you guys who took that pop, that was a nice pop, and it's still holding. And honestly, if we kind of hold, the key thing is I got 9-10 seconds left here. If we hold this level, it's a pretty bullish construct all the way basically to the session lows. Like, in other words, if you're more of a positional trader and you're willing to take a little bit more, smaller size, bigger risk, and just hold this, do we have a chance to run this higher? I think we do. We'll see. Like, in other words,
Yeah.
we exhausted the sells here for the time being.
Yeah, potentially.
There's going to be natural retrace. There's going to be natural move back and forth. There's a little bit of early buyers take some profits, but as long as we hold these levels, and for Nasdaq, as long as we hold around 920, we look pretty good.
Yeah, I'm seeing buyers still coming in. Obviously, sellers naturally are going to do the opposite of buying the dip. I don't know what you would call it. Sell the rip, maybe.
It's called selling the rip. You buy the dip and you sell the rip. That's
correct. Yeah.
Exactly.
So they're going to naturally do that because look, you can see the structure. Lower highs, lower lows.
Right.
Everyone is right now spotting, oh, this is probably a good time to sell. So you're going to get that. But like I said, we want to really stay above those buyers. If we're wrong, it's not a big deal. It's a tight stop. But when you see like a really good setup, you want to add a bit of size as well.
So
and
how
usually
do you add
the good setups occur?
Sorry, do you add size and confirmation, or the other way around? Do you add down or do you add up? Meaning, if it's going your way,
I would add up if it is going my way, but I want to see like really good volume.
Right.
Truth be told, right now the volume's very low because we're pre-market. We're not actually opened yet.
And
New York hasn't opened.
Putzing around. Right.
Yeah. So until after New York open, you don't really see the true volume of the market, and that's where the moves really, especially if you're trading like an indice or like S&P, Nasdaq. It's good to kind of trade post New York, just because the volume's kind of dead, and it's a very thin market at this moment in time. Meaning anyone with a bit of aggression can actually suddenly move this market, and that's a very dangerous situation to be in, right? When the market isn't thin and there's a lot of volume, it's a lot harder to move it, and that gives it a bit more. You can see the overall picture a bit easier.
That's why size is the most important thing. If you're trading this market, we're picking our spots, scalping around with small size. We're right, great. We take a little profit. We're wrong, it's a tiny little nick. We regroup and try again. You absolutely do not make big bets pre-market. That's absolutely true. We're still holding. It's a little bit weaker, but nothing great. If we start, if we get a 950 in the S&P, we start popping a little bit higher. That's going to be pretty bullish for us. You can see the volume also on the footprint still holding pretty much green, right?
So far, it's not looking terrible so far.
Yeah,
I do want to see a bit more buyers come in.
It's by no means like the perfect trade, because the perfect trade means we just verticalize. We're not verticalizing. But it's basically two-way price action. They're absorbing both flows. What
I do like is the volume distribution at this moment in time is looking a bit better, right? Not so good on this candle, but as a whole, you got the majority of the sellers, and the last is the 5-minute candle now, trapped near the bottom. You got buyers, we're trading above the majority of buyers, which is good news. And we're seeing buyers still kind of coming in. A bit more pressure, they could pop this up. They just need to keep on the pressure, but you always run the risk of sellers coming in hard. They could very easily right now want to come in extremely aggressive.
So this is 1 minute, right? You're looking at 1 minute, and then before you were looking at 5 minute. Is that what you were looking? We popped, guys. This pop.
There it is.
There it is.
So this is 1 minute. Just a second ago, I was showing the 5 minute because you can see the volume distribution a bit easier on higher time frames, like the 5 minute.
That's so cool. That's so cool. That is so cool. So this is the 1 minute, and on the 5 minute, you could really see where the pain points are, and they clearly, the pain points were more for the shorts than what is for the long. The longs were comfortably above most of the price was comfortably above where most of the longs are. That was really, really cool. Wow, very cool.
So as long as that volume distribution stays kind of more bullish, it's a trade you can hold, really. If you're looking more for like a longer term, I say more longer term, but more intraday trade, you can definitely hold it a bit more as long as the distribution is good. But as a scalper, you really want to be careful at where the buyers exhaust, where they start failing, and you want to be able to get out of that position quite quickly. if you're a scalper. So right now we're doing quite good. You saw a bunch of, buyers here. We kind of want to stay somewhat above them. We don't really want to go much below there now as a scalper.
Right.
And you just want to, and again, the volume distribution is looking good. Look at the sellers.
We're 970. We started this trade down. It's 970, guys. Look at that. Look at that. Pushing it up. Hopefully you guys are trailing with us, having a good time.
Oops. Got this little pen tool thing. Makes it a bit more.
Yeah.
Cool. I keep clicking accidentally the wrong thing.
It's going up so much, you're running out of pen. That's what's going on.
I've seen a bit of sell pressure coming. Nothing too spectacular, but to be expected near this little high here.
Yeah.
Right. We've got some sellers trying to come in. So we want to see how effective they are. Are they, for the volume that they're pushing, are they doing well? At the moment, we really do want to get above those sellers, and we want to stay, like I said, above those buyers. Good that buyers keep reloading, adding more. Now we've got a bit more sellers coming in. We really want to break above these guys here. We don't want to give them any kind of room to push this market down,
Yeah.
If they start becoming a bit effective, it starts looking a bit troublesome for the buyers. But so far, it's not terrible. Because you're going to naturally expect the market to tick a little bit up and down. You can't, be to the T.
It's very rarely going to be straight vertical unless everybody's getting squeezed. But the very fact you can really see how they are absorbing the sells at this point pretty nicely. But they're stalling a little bit. But we are basically 35 NASDAQ points up, which is $700 on a big contract, 70 on a small one. If you guys are trailing, I'm just having fun. I'm not trading, guys, because I'm just having fun watching Sam analyze this stuff because it's so much fun. But I'm calling a trade, so you guys are trading, and I hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah. No, you called it perfectly. You called it perfectly, right at the right spot as well.
It's and what's very cool is that our dots framework is literally sort of the same idea as your delta framework. It's it's just looking at the same data through different prisms, but coming to very, hopefully correct conclusions in terms of how you read price action. Now we're starting to,
being very cautious here because I see sellers are happier to transact a bit lower down, meaning they're getting a bit more confident. I want to see very quickly this number go back into the positive side, or at least push away from it, essentially push away very quickly. But it needs a bit of momentum and speed as well. And I want to see big buyers come in.
You picked that second tile. The one is what was there a reason why you picked that second tile? The number, is that because you looked the level? Was that the level?
Not so much the level. It was just literally the number. So we saw over 100, again, another 100 sellers. They're happy to transact here, which is, if they start making room, we could get a pullback basically, and you'd rather get out as a scalper than hold a pullback, right?
Yeah.
So you're seeing that they're becoming a little bit efficient. If realistically, if we start breaking any lower, I would be looking at getting the hell out. As a scalper.
This is so.
But we're holding them off, so
this
it's
is
okay.
So interesting to be inside your mind to see what you're seeing on volume, because that's very, very unique variable to most of the people in my room. We don't really use volume, and for you to kind of look at volume and that kind of granular level, such interesting insights.
Absolutely.
So you see how like that, they have the 114s. Volumes are basically double-digit volumes is okay. Once we get to triple-digit volumes, that starts to concern you a little bit, right? Triple-digit buy volume, they're great. We're pulling, and we're
look at this.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at all that volume coming. That's sellers getting squeezed out the market right now.
That's it, baby. That's it.
Trailing this
We're going literally up to the VWAP, guys. We're up to the VWAP. We are 60 points or 50 points off the turn that I called. So wherever if you haven't taken profit, take it all, baby. Take it all. I mean, it's going to go higher, but take it all. I'm gonna get off screen for just 1 second because I got to get some water. I'm gonna leave the show to Sam for just 1 second. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
No problem. So I'm just keeping my eye on this volume because this is a big spike in buyers, but that's going to be a lot of sells getting basically stopped out. A lot of sellers getting stopped out here. This isn't so much fresh buyers. It will be a lot of sellers getting stopped out because we broke that high, right? So it's not true momentum. So we need to see now real buyers come in and actually keep this market up. If they don't come in, this could be a very quick reversal type thing. So you got to be super careful. And we don't want to see, obviously, sellers come in. That's the last thing we want to see. So you can see the sellers coming in. There's no real buyers coming in. It was just people getting stopped out. So it's starting to look a little bit meh. I'm going to give it, if we get any lower than where we currently are,
we're bumping against the VWAP, just letting you know, Sam. So we're definitely, there's a resist there. It's also 25,000 on NAS, which is a big resist point. I mean, I know you're trading S&P, but they're all very correlated.
Yeah.
They're all of that. There's just a lot of clusters over there that sellers are going to try. I mean, if it breaks through, the sellers are really screwed. But if they hold it back here, you know, there's going to be a little bit of profit taking.
Absolutely. And I'm not seeing any fresh buyers really coming in aggressively at the moment.
Yeah.
I need to see them come in now. If they don't come in now, I'm going to be getting out. I really, really need to see those buyers come in. Nah, they're not coming in. So I'm going to get out.
You're out.
Take the money. I feel like it might be a bit of a pullback here.
Yep.
Because again, you got to read the volume that makes logical sense, right? We know a lot of these people here are going to be sellers getting stopped out, right? It just makes perfect sense. You got this high here. Anyone who sold here, where's their stop going to be? It's obviously going to be above that high, right? The moment we popped it, all of a sudden you get a bunch of buy orders. That's all their stop losses getting triggered, essentially. Now, what we need to see, the reason sometimes you see that happen, like in the market, you get this massive momentum and then that quick reversal, is exactly that. There's no follow through. There's no fresh buyers coming in willing to buy here to keep that market propped up. Now, if we don't get that fresh buying happening after a sudden pop, you're going to get this reversal until the buyers come in again. And we just don't see the buyers coming in. We're just seeing sellers come in. So I'm not going to hold it, you know?
Yep.
So it's always dangerous when you get those pops. You've got to see that follow through happen.
Exactly. So let me just switch to my screen for just one second.
Sure.
I'm gonna annotate the exact same price action our way, and you're gonna see the incredible similarity. So Sam was talking. Remember, Sam just annotated the whole thing with volume, right? I'm gonna try and do the exact same thing with dots. This is where his volume started to turn positive. We started to turn white dot. Right. Then we had more volume push. We had a green dot. I said, this is definitely a confirm go long. Then we consolidated, but no dots, no break below. Then we have fresh volume that came in and brought us higher. And then we held a little bit longer. Again, no dots. Then we had fresh volume. Then Sam said, listen, you see how the sellers starting to come in? Look what happens to us on the dots thing. The moment Sam got out, we had the first sell indicator, the purple dot. This was so basically, if we went from the white dot to the purple dot, we did the exact same trade as Sam did, based upon price principles versus volume principles, essentially transmitting sort of the same ideas, which is very, very cool. Just like really cool.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, just to see it.
That is really cool.
Yeah, because we were basically matching the information that you were seeing. But it was really, really interesting to see the information from your perspective, on that end, which is, very, very cool.
Oh, that would make my job a hell of a lot easier. You said
well, we try. No, I mean, there's a richness to, what you were looking at that is just, it's not quite encapsulated, because obviously this is a summary. You have a much more granular view, which is really, really interesting. But yeah, we're coming back and definitely created some interesting things. So yes, maybe there may be some differences in degree, but not differences in kind, in terms of the kind of trading that we're both doing. We're both pretty much trying to practice the right principles of being on the right side of the flow. And what that means is actually being on the side of trying to get the losers to cover their positions, just forcing the losers to be out of their positions. The failure setups,
Absolutely.
Once they fail, that's when the real money is made. Just like, for example, over here, guys, you can see that the buyers failed over here, right? They failed over here with this green signal, and the moment they failed, the sellers just were able to really push things over. I remember we were actually talking about it. I said to you, we have a sell signal over here, and that was when we were talking early, and we were looking at all that sell volume, and there was just two way, but they kept pushing it until eventually they couldn't. They stopped. We took our profits, and then they consolidated, and then we finally saw the buyers come in. So same concept, but just sort of expressed as price versus expressed as volume, which is really, really cool. Yeah,
absolutely.
So in the view that Sam is using available to everyone, or how do we buy it? It's okay. So we talked about this earlier, Michael. It's you need to have TradingView Premium. That's it. You just need to have TradingView Premium. If most of you already have access to CME quotes, if you're trading any of the futures props, if you want to trade all the futures props, you'll get CME quotes for free, basically. So you can you'll be able to get that access. But I hear from the grapevine, I'm not allowed to say this, but very, very soon, Ola Prime is going to be coming out with Tradeovate. So it's going to make life really, really easy. Going to be able to trade. I can't wait. We're going to be able to trade gold on Ola through TradingView and Tradeovate, which will be very, very awesome. And all of those. And when we do that, we're for sure going to have Sam on board, because it's going to make your life very easy, because everything will be fully integrated into the platform, like really, really easy. But speaking of actually gold, let me. Do you want to just take a look? I'm going to get off my screen to get back to your screen. I'm just wondering if you have any views on where gold is at. What is trading?
Sure. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I'll switch over to gold. Let me make this nice and big for you guys. I'm going to switch over to the candlesticks, just see structure for now.
Okay.
Flip over to the 15-minute. We'll just remove any existing drawings. So for me,
just before you start, according to my story here, gold, according to us, made a session bottom, is now actually trading back into the ORB range, meaning it's recovering into the lows of the ORB range. If it holds, it's a trade back up to like 51.95, 5200 on the futures. But it's just hovering near the low end of the ORB range. We don't have either a positive or negative signal right now on the thing. So go ahead, Sam. I'll leave it to you.
Sure. So I'm just going to switch off the volume profile, the session volume profile. All I'm looking for is basically where any gaps in volume are. So I'm going to take the fixed range volume profile and this push down and really all the way to where we are now, and look for any kind of little drops off in volume that could work as support and resistance. So we've got a drop off there, and then we've got another one just below. So those are the ones above us right now that I'll be interested in. Okay, we rejected off that one. That makes perfect sense. So I will be bearish until, for now, I'm going to be bearish short term, and I'll do another volume profile from this push down that we just had from that rejection and look for the exact same little drop offs in volume. And we got one right there. So that's going to be my next area where I'd want to short from. And we got so close, so close. So essentially, I'll be looking at more sort of intraday trading. I'll be looking more to short from up here, and then target maybe the point of control. Depends on structure and how the trade progresses. If we're looking for really short-term trades, I'm talking scalping, I'm going to grant that as a rejection of that area. It's not always going to be perfect to the T. You have to look at them as, give it a bit of buffer room, right? So I'm going to count that as a rejection of that area. So I'm going to be more short for the time being. But naturally, if you're a scalper, there's always going to be opportunities where, for example, when we hit this little low here, we did push up quite a bit. As a scalper, that's all you need, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to be doing another volume profile from this push up and see any other gaps in volume. And there's a beautiful little gap right there that we have rejected off a couple of times. So I'm going to be treating this market.
Is that sort of a support? It's sort of a point, a pivot point for you. If it holds, you might buy it. If it breaks, you're
absolutely.
Interesting.
So now the closer we are to this area, I'm going to be looking for, as a scalper only as a scalper, I'll be looking more for longs. The closer we are to this area, I'll be looking more for shorts. Okay, so I'm going to be treating it essentially almost like a range right now, right? Because we're kind of trapped between these two areas, and I'm going to expect there might be a bit of bouncing between them. Now, if one of the areas breaks, which they will do eventually, it has to break, right? Let's say this one below breaks down, then I'll be looking for a retest on the other side of it so I can go short then. So as long as we're above that area, I'm looking to buy. As long as we're below this area, I'm looking to short. The moment we get below this area, I'll be looking then to short the market. So that is essentially what I'll be looking for gold for now as a scalper. So until we actually get to one of those areas, I'll just have alerts set on both of them. And once the alert triggers, I'll jump on the chart and look then a bit deeper at an entry. And I'll be looking at the volume like we just did a minute ago to see the kind of volume distribution, how it's reacting, etc. So we're not far off. We're
we're very close.
We can get there.
The thing is, though, like on our charts right now, we're mildly bullish, actually, in the sense that we're holding bid. We haven't really crossed back into the ORB zone. If we do right now, right now, basically what it's showing us is the buyers are holding the lows. They're certainly holding. They're holding the 85s and holding the 80s, but the sellers are coming in hard now. The sellers are starting to really press lower, and
absolutely.
And generally, it's a short trade until you prove me wrong. Is kind of how I'm looking at this.
I would agree with that. Because the closer we are to this area, I'll be looking more for longs, right? So all these little rejections we had, even if we don't get to it, actually into that area, but if we get close to it, I'll be looking already potentially for longs.
What is that on the price chart for you? Is that like an 80?
This is futures, so it will be a little bit different to the CFD side, but basically 5,160. Let's say around 5,160, 5,170, around that kind of area.
Okay, all right, got it. Yeah, that's actually quite low. We're at 85 right now on futes, and just kind of holding bid. So it's really interesting. Yeah, what do you think about just gold in general? Like how like absolutely
bonkers,
psychotic it's been lately. It's sort of like the thing about it is I feel like it's one of those truly bipolar products at this point where it does nothing. And all of a sudden it just breaks out into like a 30-40 point move in a matter of 5 minutes. And you're like, what the hell happened? And then it just tries again, and you're like, wow, it's basically destabilizing. It's like how I would say it.
You're right, man. You're right. I mean, look, gold it's a great product. Don't get me wrong. Like there's a lot of opportunity with gold. But it is one I would always be cautious trading for that exact reason. And because I'm very much a volume-based guy in my trading, I know that the volume I'm seeing in the futures market only is only a snippet of the true gold market. So I can't put that much emphasis on what I'm seeing in terms of the actual contracts traded. I know that's just a snippet of the total gold market. So it makes it a little bit harder for me to trade. So I would be more intraday / swing trading gold rather than scalping it, if I had to choose. But
interesting. So, why is is gold traded spot? Like, is there just an enormous amount of spot volume in gold that people trade against the futes? I'm just like everything else is really centralized on the futures. Why is there so much volume away from the futures? Is it because of history? Why do you think the gold market
it's just not the most popular place to trade gold, really. I mean, like you said, you got CFDs, you got like gold is such a huge market. It's global. It's a truly global market, and it's also a physical asset. People literally buy gold, right? So it's similar. I saw someone mention Bitcoin. It's exactly the same as Bitcoin, right? Like if you go to Bitcoin on, like Bitcoin comes from an exchange, whether it's Kraken, Binance, whatever, right? So if you go to BTC, for example, right, and we do Coinbase here, you're going to see the volume on Coinbase. This is the volume only shown on Coinbase, right? because that's one exchange. But if we switch over to Binance now, the volume is going to be different because that is what's being traded on Binance. And there's so many different exchanges you can trade on, right? This is Bitstamp, right?
We have, just let's just say, guys, from our perspective, gold now is bullish. We went back into the lower end of the ORB, green dot. So basically, as long as we hold these levels here, we have a slightly upward bias, maybe for 5 points, sort of like the stop would be about 10 points away from this level, target maybe around 5 points forward. That's how I'd be looking at it. It's very, tepid, and the buying is not seeing a lot of follow through, but the bottom line is the buyers were able to lift it above the range. So it looks a little more bullish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So as I was saying, so trying to trade the volume just from Bitcoin, you're only seeing whichever exchange you decide to look at, you're only seeing that that exchange's volume, right? So it's kind of almost pointless using the footprint for Bitcoin because you're only seeing a snippet at any time. And it's kind of similar with gold because you can only really see what's in the futures market. You don't see the full market. Look, you'll never see the full market on even on like NQ or ES. You're still not going to technically see the full market, but you're seeing the majority on the indices on their products because they're mostly traded on the futures. So their footprint works the best. So if I'm going to choose a product to trade using the footprint, I'm going to use the one that gives me the easiest. And do you know what I mean? It's just the easiest to trade essentially.
You want a product where like 70-80% of the flow goes through that particular
exactly
exchange. So your analysis of the situation is much better. Just you're not blindsided by information you don't see.
Correct. 100%. Yeah.
So we got it like about 10 minutes before the market open, which Sam will absolutely analyze for us the market open. But let's chat a little bit about Hola for a sec. Let me take my screen.
Sure. Let's do that.
I want to take you. First of all, you guys are having unbelievable sales right now. It's 45% off. Fast 75. That's I'm going to put our link in there, but don't use our code. Use their code. I mean, I'm giving up our code, but it's a better deal. Just use this link. The Fast 75 is very, very Fast 45. I'm sorry, very, very big discount to everything. And obviously, this is the CFD one step. Josh, I'm actually curious. What do you think is? I get this asked all the time, so I'd love to know your opinion on it. What should traders trade? One step or two step when they're trading challenges with you guys?
It depends. I mean,
it
really depends. It's a hard one.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was me personally, I would probably go for the one step.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who like the two step. It really depends on you as a person. There's no right or wrong when it comes to that.
Yeah. Me too. I like the one step, but of course, that's the CFD challenges and the forex challenges over here, right? And they have lots of different platforms. Just to let you guys know, we have, as always, our free Hola one-click trading tool, which you guys see me trade Hola products in Asia. Yesterday, we were just killing it in gold, and one of the most valuable aspects of this particular MetaTrader 5 tool is we have this function called close half, go to break even, but it's actually not half. You can close quarter, close half, close 3/4. And all I do, Sam, when we get the run in our direction, I'm just hitting close quarter, close quarter, close quarter. What that does is it scales me out. Regardless, the great thing about CFDs is it doesn't matter what size you start with, it will always be able to close out a quarter of it. Unlike futures, where futures are fixed, you won't be able to do that. And so it takes me out a quarter, break even quarter, and I'm just scaling out continuously. Sometimes, in 4 or 5 seconds, we're able to get out of the whole position, net P&L positive. It's been a really, really useful tool. People who use this all the time love it. And it's totally free. As I said, all you guys got to do is just go out there, buy some Hola challenges, send me a screenshot, and I'll send you to the link to download it. It has full description of how to use all the tools. It's a single key entry for buys and sells and exits and everything else. But the real sort of value button here is close, half, go to break even. But which when you're, it's very fast markets in gold. Like when gold starts to move, you snooze or you lose, right? You could go 3-4 points in your direction. But by the time, you have like this kind of a terrible choice. Do I wait till it hits my full profit, or do I get out early now? The great thing about this is you don't have to make that choice. You can get out a little bit at a time, and that way you're guaranteed profits all the way through, and then close out, close out on the final thing. So tool is really, really useful for everybody. It's a BK Click One Trader, specifically just for our friends at Hola for MT5 accounts. So just letting you guys know, go out there, go get some accounts. Yeah, Ricky says great tool. Yeah, Ricky's a fan. Everybody who uses this is a huge fan. You can't once you go one click, you never go back, right? That's the story. But then the other thing is, of course, you also have the futures product, right? Which is here's the futures product right over here, and with all your products, you have a zero denial payout policy. So can you just explain what that means? That basically means that if you hit your targets, you get paid, right? Basically, to put it distinctly.
Exactly. There's no kind of like hidden rule or something where we try to catch you out or something like that. Essentially, right. It's like the rules. Obviously, you're either going to breach the account or you get a payout. Essentially, right. Obviously there are rules. You got to obviously follow the rules still, but yeah.
But basically, if you're at target and your account is live, that by definition means you follow the rules. That means because
exactly,
it's all programmatic. It's not like there's any kind of a subjective analysis. It's all programmatic. The rules are very, very clean. You got to make 6, 4 down on trailing, 2 days of trading. That's it. You hit that. There's no. The other thing is there's no. You can trade this for like 50 days if you want to, at one tiny little contract at a time, just to give yourself, just to learn, a lot of these techniques. And as long as you hit the 6% up, you'll get, as long as you hit that target, you are done, which is really, really cool.
That's it.
They have, so this is the futures products. They have the 25, which is 3 contracts, 50 is 5, 100 is 10, 150 is 15 contracts. Tradeovate and NinjaTrader are coming soon. Can't wait for that. That's really, really going to be good. This is actually really cheap. Wow, 150 at 128. That's really
sale going on.
Yeah, big sale, man. That is dirt cheap. You guys know I like the 50s, the 100s. The other thing is, this is the other thing about Hola, guys. That's very, very. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the same ratio on all the sizes. In other words, it's 6 up, 4 down on 25. It's 6 up, 4 down on 150, right? It doesn't.
I think on CFDs, yes. I think on futures, unless we changed it. Let me double check, actually.
Okay, let's actually look. Here's 50. 6-3, right? It's.
Oh, yeah. We did change it.
On 100, it's 6-3. On 50, it's 6-4. It's a little bit better. Better, but like nowhere near as bad as some of the other, like you guys know that like when you get larger sizes, the risk rewards go really against you. This is just a mild 1% down. So that's a very attractive structure. Man, I am just really jazzed up. When we have Tradeovate, when this finally comes on, and I'm told it's coming soon, we are absolutely going to have Sam back for that, because that's going to just open up an unbelievable opportunity for everybody to use Tradingview, which is, of course, we love, and Tradingview indicators that we have and everything else that we said that. So remember I was telling you that, this, can you see my gold? I was saying, gold looks a little bit positive for us. That's basically it. We are just, it's not exactly barnstorm positive, but as long as we're holding these levels, we're gold to us is a mild buy. That's that's hardly a vote of confidence, but I guess it's not. It says a vote of not a vote of non-confidence. But and now we're going to go down. Now if we break down, it's actually we're market open 9:30. Gold is kind of crashing down. If we stay and break this level, then it looks like it's a pretty strong short. In the meantime, let me give this screen back to Sam so you can take a look at. Let me get rid of mine. Take a look at market open and see what he's thinking about what's going on in NAS and S&P.
So I'm just making sure my levels were drawn out. Let's see on the open very
strong, right? Big pump.
Yeah. There was a big amount of buyers, but sellers were very happy. It's very balanced in the middle. Let's see what happens. It's good to always look at the opening candle because it kind of gives you an idea of what to expect for the rest of the day. It's not obviously guaranteed, but generally when the open is very rangy and choppy and buyers and sellers are kind of just equally as aggressive each other, you kind of have a bit of a range day. When it goes in one direction, it decides to just go. A lot of time you get a good trending day. So
yeah,
it's just good to look at the volume. The volume is relatively low today. I've seen bigger numbers on the ES usually. So we've got a bit of a lower kind of. The volume itself might be. Sorry.
So yeah, so interesting. You look at so many different things here. Let me take the comments off so we can see the screen a little bit better.
Sure.
What's on a good day volume? Those blocks are what, like? Can they go about to 1,000 or like what?
Yeah, easily. Yeah, easily over 1,000. Rarely you would see it go over 2,000 on the delta, but yeah, 1,000 plus usually is quite a good open. But this tells me that it's a bit balanced today, because the actual volume itself is pretty good, right? We did get some pretty decent volume coming, especially there. 5,000 contracts, but it's the delta is obviously just a difference, and it's only a 500 difference. So buyers and sellers are quite aggressive on both sides, but at least for the open. But so my thinking here would be a lot of people are interested in selling naturally because they're looking at this kind of market saying yeah it's a good time to short. We're near the highs here, good time to short. But we've also got a lot of people who are interested in actually buying and expecting that we're rotating back because we're down at these lows. Not too long ago we were down at these lows, so it kind of makes sense why because we're very in the middle of a range. If you actually look at it, if you kind of squint your eyes, it's not the cleanest range, but we are pretty much in somewhat of a range, right? Like up and down here, we're kind of in the middle, so you're always going to get that. Which side do you go for, right? Up or down, essentially.
Those yellow lines, are those volume gaps? What are those yellow lines for you?
Yeah, they're just little gaps in volumes that were created today. A lot of them are getting filled already, but we've got a nice one at the top here.
Can you walk us slowly at what a gap in volume is? What does that mean?
Sure. So essentially, the volume profile tool, although it's called volume profile, it measures time more than it does volume. Because the only reason a low volume node like this one here is low volume is because the market didn't spend much time there, right? And you can see it already. If I go over to just the candlesticks, this area here, the market didn't really spend that much time. And you saw this really quick movement down that created basically a gap, right? And what I'm looking for is heavier volume on top, low volume, heavier volume on the bottom. So kind of like low volume sandwich between heavier volume. And that to me indicates that somewhere someone placed some aggressive kind of sell orders, pushed the market down very quickly. So the market didn't spend much time in that area. And that's why it's low volume. So if I go over to the footprint and actually look at the volume just before that area, I should expect to see some kind of, heavy selling coming in or a bit higher volume. And absolutely we do. If you look at the kind of average volume, you do get a bit of a chunk in volume there, 145. Especially if I go to, buy and sell or total, you'll probably see a spike in volume. You do see a lot of volume in this kind of area here just before it. Although it's low volume, it actually has a lot of volume, right? Because it just means the market didn't spend much time there. So those areas usually work as good kind of support and resistance. And you can kind of see what happened here again. We created that area, we came back, those sellers defended quite well, and we shot down.
So can I ask you a question? In that type of situation, walk me through that state. So we have that gap, we coming back into it, you're looking at this. When do you go short in that particular situation? When it falls back down from that area, from the one you had it before, like that little gap.
So what I would do
Yeah.
is if the gap is really nice, like a really clean gap, and there's a really good drop off in volume, you can see how it looks like just by looking at the volume. This is a nice gap. You can really see that nice drop off and then that increase. This isn't really a nice gap. There's hardly a drop off. I wouldn't even really call that a gap. So when the gap is really nice and it's quite far away and it's near the beginning of like a move down or a move up, in this case, it's near the beginning of this move down, I would probably, just as we get to the gap, I'll enter one position front running it. I'll have my stop, just above the gap.
Right.
And if I start seeing then on the footprint, like in this case, if I saw a lot of, buyers coming in, getting, trapped, same idea, the kind of people getting trapped in the market and we trade below them and a lot of sellers coming in, I'll add more size to it to try and,
so once it drops
roll.
out, once it kind of drops out of the gap into the direction that you're going, you'll add more. So you have like a probative entry, and then once you have confirmatory move, a confirmation move, you can add to the position and then try to press.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely. And we can probably see, I mean, it was a pre-market. Where was it? Was it here? I can't remember which one it was now. I've switched to the 1 minute. It's over there. There it is.
It was like, that must have been early.
Here it is. Let's see. I mean, this is very pre-market, so the volume is just dead, unfortunately. This is 5 a.m. for me. So, but in post New York, you're going to get that volume and you can see it a lot clearer. Hopefully we get one of these gaps. Go to one of these gaps. We're not far. Oh, there is one up here. And okay, so this is still part of the opening range. We're just ranging. I mean, look at this price action. It's disgusting right now. I have no interest in trading this.
No,
I don't care what the footprint tells me. I am not trading this until we break away from it.
Can I just tell you that, like, the irony of the whole thing is it's been a story for the last 2-3 days. We're on stream 9-10:30, just dead. I'm literally, yesterday I was just like falling asleep. The moment we go off stream, boom, 10:30 to 11:30, just all this massive flow, massive volume. It's just Murphy's rule. Last few days, it's just been that way.
You're so right. You're so right. It's been happening to me as well. But yeah, I mean, but that's part of being a trader. You got to know when to not trade as well. I mean, that's probably more important than knowing when to trade almost. So
right. No, absolutely. We have we created like all these really cool analytic tools for people to use, and which I'll show everybody a little bit later. But they're totally free. Like, you can take your MetaTrader 5 account, upload it, and it will analyze all your trades. You can take your I haven't done DX Trade, but you can definitely do your Tradivate. So when Tradivate comes on, Hola, you guys will be able to analyze all your trades. But the interesting part about all this was when we were looking at the most profitable time for me to trade, because it does by the hour, it was actually 11 o'clock New York. Like when we're off stream is when I had because that's when you had a lot of the movement. The irony of the whole thing is that everybody thinks the opening hours where the money is. The opening hours, a lot of churn. The actual money is 10:30 to 12 noon New York, which is the European close and New York morning. That's where you get a lot of more directionality, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. But it's weird. Some days, New York open, great time to trade.
Right.
Absolutely splendid.
So if
you just get a lot of indecision. It is what it is,
Exactly. You have to take, you can't force the trades. You have to just take them as they come. If you have no signals, there's no trades. You just simply stay patient. That's the hardest part.
The best thing to do is have your areas where you kind of want to trade in. Like, I really want to trade up here for a short, potentially. Have an alert set, and you don't have to stare at the chart, especially as a scalper. I mean, you'll get a migraine if you do it every day for hours staring at a chart. Right. Once the alert hits, jump on the chart, and see if the trade sets itself up. But I think there's this kind of misconception as a scalper that you need to constantly be in the market and you need to always predict what's happening next. That's very difficult to do. It all comes down to probability. You don't really want to trade in the middle of what I like to call filth. This is like filth right now. It's just a filthy market. This is disgusting. You don't want to be involved in this. Whether you're buying, selling, you're going to get chopped up. Just walk away.
There's nothing like the British accent, to say filth. It just has a certain ring to it that we Americans just don't possess. I love that. It's really fun. Well, it's true. It's just, it's subtle chop. You said something very interesting, which I talked about yesterday, which is, as traders, we don't predict, we react. I think that's what people always confuse. People think that we don't predict at all. We react. And Sam you can see, Sam has a level, right? He's going to watch that level. He's not predicting that that's going to be a support level, or he doesn't know if it's support resistance. He knows it's an important level. Once it shows him what it wants to do, he's going to react against that. That's the key to successful trading. Because he could just as easily buy that break as he could sell it. If it steamroll right through it, he's going to be looking to probably buy on any kind of pullback, because that's going to be a much more powerful up signal than a short signal. It all depends. That's the thing. We're very mercenary. We have no loyalty to one side or the other side of the market. We just want we want to be loyal to the side that's winning. That's the ultimate mercenary move, right?
Absolutely. Very well said. Very well said. You got to just react. And what I'm seeing here is, they've now changed. They were gaps in volume, but because we're trading in them so heavily and so much time now that they're no longer gaps. But
okay, so interesting. Can you go back to that? Because again, people really need to understand this whole thing. It's not like this is a static indicator. This indicator changes based upon, it constantly updates. So what was true, 3 hours ago is no longer true today, and no longer true now. You need to be very mindful of that. So you can't be acting upon false assumptions that you had because the data has changed. So therefore, your analysis of the data has to change.
Correct. Absolutely. So what were two gaps? We're just kind of bouncing between them right now. One of them's going to break eventually, whether it'll be upside down. At this point in time, I have no idea. There's literally, I couldn't tell you. You could put a gun to my head. I have no idea whether it's going to go up or down. And I have no interest in trying to predict whether it's going to go up and down. Right. But one of them will win eventually, whether it's the Bears, the Bulls, doesn't matter. But when it happens, then we can start thinking about, okay, having a game plan. But as of yet, I mean, this open has probably been one of the worst opens this week. To be honest, this is really not nice.
But, it's not unusual that it's actually very common post market news that you get very, very flat kind of price action for a while, and then the irony of the whole thing is probably 10:30 people are going to start pre-positioning stuff. What I want to ask you? Oh, geez, I had something on my mind. I just totally slipped off. Now I totally forgot what it was.
All right, we'll come back.
We're talking about the fact that I know what it was. Market volume profile. Is that basically 1 day's price action that constantly updates? Is that what that's showing you?
Yeah. So this one, the session volume profile, is basically from the start of the day to the end of the day, and this is every candle that prints it updates basically.
And this is basically the electronic session from 1800 New York or 1700 Chicago to 1600 or 1700 New York. So basically, it's the 23-hour Globex session, and it consolidates all that information continuously. So that curve or whatever, that blob, is going to change shape as price, and as transactionality changes shape.
That's
really
absolutely
interesting. Honestly, Sam, people have tried to explain volume profile to me for like 10 years, and it's been, just I understand in principle what it does, but I could never really understand the details. And it's been so helpful to have you on stream to kind of, I think most people now have a much better idea of what this tool does and how useful it could be in terms of.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
I think the thing about volume profiles, most people believe high volume is where you should be trading, but because really it's actually low volume is the magic areas in volume profile, because low volume, because it's a measurement of time. It's not a measurement of volume. I mean, it does account volume. Of course, volume's involved in it, but regardless of the only reason this is the point of control, the most heavily traded area, is because we spent the most time there. We spent all this time here, bit of time there. We've just had a bunch of ranges.
Right.
A high volume node is just a range, essentially. And you don't want to be trading in a range. Like, I hate being in a range. I either want to be wrong or right quick. I don't want to be stuck in the up-down choppiness. That's my worst nightmare. Yeah.
Not only that, but if you're, as all scalpers, we're effectively short-term momentum traders, right? We're looking for that move. Range
Exactly.
will basically chop you to death.
Exactly.
It will continuously kill you. But it's really, it's very, very interesting. One other thing I want to note, because time is coming to an end a little bit for us. Ola has been super, super gracious in basically giving us 3 free prop accounts. So what I'd like you guys to do, I think, is go to Prop Trader Edge Twitter account and say Ola rocks, and leave your username there. And in about 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to pick three traders just randomly, and then we're going to get in touch with you, and we'll give you the free codes to be able to trade 25K Ola accounts. So you guys will be all set. So that'll be very, very fun. Still chopping from my end. Honestly, I have just as little insight as you do, in a sense. We're positive bid, negative. Negative. Yeah,
I see a potential buy appearing because we've created a little gap here. It's not the greatest. It's kind of dead in the middle. It's been traded through many times, but I've done another little volume profile just on this push up to see if there's any, and there is another gap created in the push up. So I'm going to expect maybe some kind of bullish. Oh, we just touched it. Damn it. That was quick. I'm going to expect maybe some kind of bullish move potentially from here.
Interesting.
If we break through it, then we're just rotating back down, in my opinion.
Okay.
So let's have a look what actually happens as we get in. We're seeing a bit of volume spike. Volume spiking. There's a bit of absorption. Look at that spike in volume happening. Let's see if the sellers or buyers come in and try and defend. If not, there's nothing there. We want to see a bit of buy pressure, but the sellers are coming in very strong. It looks like we're about to clear it.
Looking sellish on our side right now. Still a little early, 44 seconds left. But if this holds at this intensity, it's looking sellish on our side.
Yeah.
Look
at the volume spiking. Yeah. Wow.
We're also, New York session lows are only like 10 points away on NASDAQ. But the key thing is they're holding them so far. That's interesting. They're holding them. 22 seconds left. See that tiny little green volume? That was them trying to buy the New York session lows, which they kind of did.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I just want to see. There's definitely absorption happening, but there's no real strong buyers coming in. Again, you want to like we said before, you want to be able to squeeze those sellers out. Who's vulnerable in the market? Well, at the moment, it's these sellers are going to be vulnerable, because if we go against them, you bet they're getting out the market, right? So, you got to put yourself in their shoes. If you sold up here, are you going to be happy or sad right now? You're going to be okay. You're not going to be panicking. What would make you panic? What do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bit of buying coming in.
Right, coming in, volume coming in, volume coming in.
So let's just, before you just rush in and buy, you want to kind of see how good are those buyers at beating the sellers right now. We want to really kind of see, do they keep reloading? You can see sellers are actually putting in more contracts. We were up 400. Now we're back into the negative. The buyers just got, eaten up. We want to, if the buyers want to push this market up, they need to keep reloading, adding more and more, but they're doing it a bit, but not enough, just not enough there. That's just, and look, sellers are again coming back in. So personally, I think, that area's been cleared. There's not really anything there in terms of where else. I mean, it's a tough one.
What's the yellow round underneath there that you're trading into? What is that of value?
That is another. Yeah, that was another gap, but I think on the 15-minute, yeah, it was this one here. So from yesterday, I think it was yesterday. There was a little gap created there. There's a much nicer one at the bottom here, which I would love to see get tested, but we have yet to actually get there. So, but this one's been holding up. If you just look on the 15-minute from yesterday, the one I drew out, that's this one here. It's held up many times. I mean, we've tested it once, twice. Sorry, it's not yesterday. It's the day before yesterday.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. I think eventually it's going to break. I mean, how much longer can it hold? Who knows? You know, I think if you just look at the price action, I think people were just buying the dip essentially. You know, all in this area here. People have seen how many rejections they are. They're going to keep buying when it comes in. But I think eventually we're going to break. And this area here is where I'm really interested. I've got an alert already set there. That's an area I'm going to be very, very interested in potentially buying. Because we're in a high traffic area right now. You know, you want to get away from the high traffic, nice, clean kind of movement. And then, yeah, there'll be a good trade. So I'm not too interested in shorting it because I wouldn't really have a great place to put my stop, to be honest. Nothing. It's just not definite because we can again rotate again from the lows. We're getting back into these lows. There's I couldn't give you like a probability, but what is stopping people from buying here? And we just make another rotation up and the range continues. You don't really want to be shorting into the bottom of a range. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's the worst.
It's dangerous.
Although I mean, we just broke the New York session lows, and we're bouncing back up off of them. It is very much like one step forward, 2 steps backwards, kind of a move. But it is a we basically drifted. We took out the lows of the New York New York opening candle. So that's interesting, and now we're kind of bouncing back. The key would you if this clears all those sellers, like if it clears that the second yellow line, would you be about buy here on a short covering scalp?
I would be more inclined to short if we get below that big yellow box. But
no, would you be a buyer here, like because they're sweeping the sellers here? They're pushing them up. We actually have like a
but a bit late for me now.
Yeah, it's a little late.
Yeah.
You would have been in like right around that 176.
Yeah, I would have wanted to see what actually happened in real time here. Unfortunately, I didn't actually see it.
Yeah.
It's not the clearest though, because we still have all that heavy sell volume. Yes, we're above it. Am I seeing sellers get stopped out a little bit? We're getting a bit of a spike, but I don't think it's a legit move yet. I don't know. I think sellers are still very much happy to be in this market. I want to see something just a little bit more. I want to see bigger numbers like this 900, 800.
Right.
100 post-market open is just not, it's not good enough for me. I want to see a lot of people fail.
We have a mild buy signal here, like 44, 25, 44, 25, 45 on NAS for 20 to 25.60 with the stop like right around, like the 25, 20 stop. But it is, it's very much a two-way market. But it is, like you said, it's very tepid. But it feels like the sellers, the buyers bought the bottom here, and they want to press it a little bit higher. So yes,
here was a good opportunity.
Yeah,
potentially. I just saw here we spiked up to almost 500 on the sell side, and there was, and then buyers very quickly came in, dropped them out. If we break that low, I'm going to go in for a buy, because if we break that little low there, it's really, I can have super tight stop. If we get below that 300, I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong. Okay. But if buyers can stay afloat and come in, they're pushing this market up. So I'm going to just jump in. Although it's not at an area I really want to trade, I don't want to be trading dead in the middle, which we're currently kind of at. But because you can get these aggressive swings. Again, I'm more happy to trade at the more extremes, you know, where up here, all the way down here, those are the areas I really want to be putting on size. But for one contract,
but we're pretty much close to our target. We hit with 45 to 60. We just eked out a little bit of a move here, but now it's coming back down and you're out. Yeah, that's
almost. Yeah, I think the sellers have got it there. Buyers couldn't keep them propped up, but here the sellers did fail. They might still fail a little bit here.
Yeah.
So I gave it a little bit more breathing room on the stop, but essentially, if we get properly below here, I'm out. Yeah, I'm out. It's not. I don't think it's going to work out, and the sellers are going to take over. But it's a very choppy area. You want to really be trading more on the extremes, you know.
Right, super choppy, very indeterminate. We literally had a tiniest of the scalps, and that was basically it.
Yeah.
But it's not negative. The thing is, for us to be negative, this thing has got to drop to basically 25,000 on NAS, take out the New York session lows. We're basically, consolidating. And like the longer we go, actually, the harder, it's going to be interesting to see. The longer we go, the harder it's going to be for the sellers to keep the pressure on here. They need to run this down.
I am seeing something here. I'm seeing potential for a buy always at the bottom here. But the thing is, for it to work out, there's going to have to be a lot more buyers coming in. So my hope for the trade to work out would be fresh buyers coming in. Now, no one's forced to buy here. This is the problem. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather see sellers get truly trapped and get forced to exit. That would make a better trade. But I am constantly seeing here potential for buy at these lows.
So if you saw like 500 buying, that would what would give you confidence that this might actually start turning?
We actually just saw it. We saw spike up almost to 500, but the sellers again are happy to absorb a lot of these buyers. I would want to see follow through. I want to see every time the number spikes more on the buy side, I want to see the candle actually jump. I want to see a bit of movement to the buyers that indicates that the sellers are getting. But yeah, there I saw, like here, the sellers were just constantly failing. But the problem is sellers are happy to sell here. Buyers are happy to buy here.
Right.
We're kind of wedged between these two areas.
Yep.
Yes, we can drift up a little bit, but then sellers can come back in and push it down.
Right.
Because they're both very kind of, they're equally as adamant as each other. There's no real major imbalance right now.
No, it's a tight little range. Although we have an inkling of a secondary buy, 19 seconds left. It keeps flashing on, flashing off. I'll tell you if it holds in 14 seconds. But yeah, it's it actually starting to hold.
Yeah.
Yes, we have buyers.
There they come in. A bit bigger buyers finally came in. And once so like I said, for this buy to work out, we would need those heavy buyers coming in. The reality is, I don't know if they were to come in. They may have come in. They did, which is good. But at the time, it's very hard to know because they're not forced to enter.
Right.
But I definitely saw there was a good time to buy. It was a bit unfortunate. I got stopped out ever so slightly on a tick, but it's fine. I got in a bit early there on the first sign of sellers failing, but it is what it is. It is what it is. There's much better opportunities at the extremes. So I rather wait for my alerts to get triggered, jump back on, and trade a more cleaner area, because this is a very choppy area. We're still very much. We're literally at the open. Where we opened on the New York Open, so
we're back to the top of the range. Absolutely. The thing I was thinking about today is that the thing about trading is you can always find a good trade as long as you're willing to lose. That's the thing. I think it's the hardest thing to accept. As long as you're willing to lose, there will be 10 good trades before the market is done today. based upon your style. My style was a little bit looser than Sam's in the sense that I had a wider stop, so of course that facilitated a much easier move. But then I'm also going to have bigger risk than him. Like when he hits his trade, he's going to have zero risk and just all upside. So as long as you know where how you trade, we're basically, by the way, actually fresh highs taking out ORB above ORB. Like it's all positive. After the half hour of bullshit, we finally have directionality. That's the irony of the whole thing.
Yeah.
There we go. We have a big buy move here.
Oh, look at that! Straight into that area. My alert just triggered in my ear. That was extremely loud.
Yeah.
So this is the first area I expect sellers to kind of really try and take the market, and we're seeing them come in very quickly.
Right.
So this whole kind of area I'll be keeping my eye on to see what's going to happen now, to make a decision. But that was a lot of buyers. Look at that volume. 3,000. That is scary. Do you want to sell into that? Probably not. So
No.
you don't want to be the first person to jump in. But look at that. We peaked to over 1,000 on the sell side. This is starting to really rip. Now the buyers coming in fresh. Are they going to start failing up here? Let's have a look. This is where it gets interesting. But this is really woken up. My God. That was such a shame I got stopped out there, because that would have been an incredible trade.
Don't worry. We're on the right. You were on the right side. It's just you're just pressing your. But now, by the way, look at the sellers are really pressing it down. It looks like
something's happened.
Yeah, it's not huge. I wonder if
I feel like this is a bit of news related. Something's happened. The volume looks a bit too high right now, and it's moving a bit too crazy.
Trying to see if there's any news here. IE members agreed to release 400 million barrels of oil, just oil.
Right.
Oil related. As much 13 barrels Brent crude has been shipped through the Strait since the war began. Blah blah blah. Yeah, not much, but
yeah. So I would normally want to short up here, but that
three cargo. Tony's saying the ship from Thailand got hit in Hormuz with to combine for 20.
Okay.
News guys are telling me ship from Thailand got hit in Hormuz. 3 cargo ships off Iran coast got hit. Why would that be positive? Why would that be positive, Tony is my military analyst. Why would that be positive, Tony? I mean, they knocked out 3 cargo ships. Isn't that going to increase? Is it just because now they think that we're going to just bomb everything inside of? We're going to take over the Strait of Hormuz tomorrow. We're definitely going to take over the Strait of Hormuz. But this was clearly, you're right. It was a news related spike, totally squeezed out. And by the way, now it's totally reversing as the sellers are pressing.
I mean, this area held very nice. I mean, look, in terms of volume, it did kind of show you should be shorting.
Yeah.
I didn't take it because I'm truth be told, that volume scared me. That buy volume on that candle, 3,695, looked like it was news related. When it's news related, all bets are off a lot of the time. Right. Something said, it doesn't matter what the technicals show you. Sometimes it can just, So it kind of spooked me, shorting into that volume. But it would have been a nice scalp if it was a bit more normal conditions. Absolutely, that area held very.
That was the area. That was the area that you were looking at. It kind of dropped out of that area. It actually worked perfectly on the move here. Yeah. That's really, really interesting. Very cool. Very cool, guys. We are continue to hold above the levels here, guys. Where's my ORB not showing up? Okay, this is showing up. There it is. We're still holding above the New York level ORB, but definitely unwinding this whole big spike. Which, by the way, is like cargo ships knocked out, less supply, more demand. Probably the bots are buying the news. Yeah, but no. Why would you be buying an act of damage against Western interests. It just makes I don't know. I don't understand. Trump said nothing left in Iran to hit. That's actually not true because clearly they're still hitting cargo ships, right? Hmm.
News is a hard one to figure out. It's a very hard one to figure out. I remember when Amazon had that massive outage. I think it was like last year. They had a huge outage. Their stock rose. I mean, I didn't understand that. That's when I was like, I don't get this game anymore. I don't. How can their stock rise? It makes no sense to me anymore.
I know. The best news is when you have the technicals and the news make sense, or at least you see positive news, positive technicals, and it continues. Then you have a lot of I did the other day. There was some positive news and everything spiked, and I just went all in, hog in, and it was a super easy trade. But when you have kind of a countervailing move, like if something is weird and it goes up, I never trust that price action, which is exactly what's happening now.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. I like the news for the most part. It still spooks me.
Yeah.
Because so many times I've been burnt. I mean, a lot of times I got it right, but I like calm, clean market conditions. That's personally what I like. I like to have a few seconds to actually think about the trade before jumping in.
There's nothing worse. So much money I've lost in my life where I'm like, oh, let me just jump in. It's just always worth that 10 extra seconds to consider what you're doing. Back into the New York unwinding this whole big spike, guys. I'm actually interested. Tell me what you see. Let's just do one final kind of look-see here on the footprint and the volume. Where how are you reading this particular price action? Are we definitely looking bearish? And I'll tell you what will make me totally bearish here is if we drop like below 25,100. Like if we start coming back into the New York ORB zone, that just tells me that that we've unwound this whole big news spike and coming back down. How's it looking to you?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm seeing a ton of sellers coming in right now. They're really aggressive. You look at the volume at the bottom, 2,000 in that candle, an extra 1,000 on that candle. They're coming in very aggressive. That is a lot of volume. They are determined to break through.
Yeah.
Buyers have kind of given up a little bit. It does look like they're probably going to push it down. Yep. I would need to look at the 15-minute or a bit bigger volume, bit bigger time frame to kind of get a better look. And this candle, all the buyers are at the top. To me, that is definitely bearish volume distribution. All the buyers are at the top.
That's so interesting. The most interesting thing you taught us was the distribution of volume, because that really gives you a clue as to who controls the table. Because if you seeing those greens at the higher prices really doesn't make you, if you're a buyer, doesn't make you feel very bullish. And we're now in the ORB zone. We broke it. We actually 10, 12 seconds away from a decent short signal right here, right now.
Because we got these original buyers who came in at the open. They're the only ones propping this up a little bit.
Yep.
They're the ones fighting for dear life, and you can see them coming in.
Right.
If they get squeezed out, I think this market is going down.
That's where it is. Yeah, and we're holding up. Yep. Awesome, guys. Do you have any questions for Sam before I let him go? So we've kept him here for so long. I don't want to keep him for much longer.
No, it's all good. Enjoy.
Any questions for Sam? Type them out. I'll be happy to answer them. We learned so much today. We learned the volume profile and what it means, what the gaps in the volume profile is, how it's a dynamically updated instrument, that it's not static in any way. We learned about volume distribution, which is really, really interesting on the footprint, meaning that it's not just the volume sizes. It's the volume sizes at what prices, where are they distributed on the ladder, to kind of give you an idea of who's winning, who's losing. And all of those give us obviously really interesting intelligence on where the price could go. So it's a really great combination of additional factors for all of the stuff that we do. Everybody's giving us thank yous. Do you use VWAP? Question. Do you use VWAP?
I personally don't, but I know it's a great an absolutely great tool. The only reason I stopped using VWAP was it influenced my decisions sometimes on good trades as well, because we'd be approaching VWAP and I'll take that extra few minutes, but let's see if it breaks. And
Yeah.
because it just becomes a bit too cluttered for me.
Yeah.
Hence why I don't use any other kind of moving average type thing. But absolutely, I mean, VWAP is tried and tested. It's a great tool. If you can implement that into your trading, go for it.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. It's funny you say that, because I was, before you came on, I was like, here's my new version. We had like 14 different configurations on my indicator, and I turned off 12 of them. I'm like, this is my new version, guys. Nothing on the chart. It's totally changed. So yeah, that's wonderful. All right, everybody wants to know, like, what's the story? Go to let me give you the X account number. Hang on a second. Let me Prop Trader Edge. Where's the Prop Trader Edge? Go to X account Prop Trader Edge, and type in. First of all, follow. You got to follow the account, right? For our friends at Prop Trader Edge, and then here's the symbol on Twitter, and then type in Ola Rocks, and I'm going to pick out 3 of the however many you guys put in there, 3 handles out there, and then we're gonna email you guys the codes a little bit later, and then you'll be able to get the free Olas. But in the meantime, everybody else, go out there. Ola 45% off. Go get some Olas. I'm going to give you the link. Use their code, not ours, because you're going to get bigger discounts. Here we go. Our code is Edge. Their code is sorry, what was the code again? I forgot.
It has it on the side.
It was something. Hang on a second. Let me just go up there. Ola, the Edge is it's oh wait, what happened to the we had the 45%, was it on futures? What happened to the code? Oh, there it is. Yeah. EOS 35. EOS is 35. Anyways, it's pretty close actually to ours. So use Edge. Use Edge now. But regardless what you do, the other great thing is, we talked about the fact that all the futures are almost equidistant in risk reward, whether you're trading 25 to 150. So if you want to trade the really large account to be able to have huge amount of leverage on your side, really good value proposition there, right? On the future side. So go out there, go get them. Yeah, we're drifting lower. We pretty much called it, whichever way we looked at it. We got the direction right, which is all that really matters. So we are drifting lower, as I said to you. Thank you, Sam, so much for hanging out with us. Guys, hang in. We're gonna hang for another 10-15 minutes. I'm gonna wrap up, but I want to let Sam go. Thank you so much for doing the footprint, for doing the volume profile, and we are looking very much forward. Tradivate, when Tradivate comes on board, we're going to have Sam back, and that's going to be super cool, because we're going to be able to put together all of his tools and all of our tools on TradingView with Tradivate accounts, and you guys going to be able to really ramp it up on all the trading.
Absolutely, and thank you, Boris. Thank you all for tuning in. For all the support. It's been great seeing your comments. And Boris, it's a pleasure as always. Can't wait to be back.
I love it. Thank you so much, Sam. Have a great day, great evening. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye. All right. Here we go. Take Sam off. Wonderful. Okay, guys. So looking at what we have on our side, right? Just to kind of analyze. Let me just bring everything in. How's everybody doing, by the way? Are we doing good? Let's take a look at our structure for just a little bit. That was really, really wonderful. Sam was super, super useful. A lot of very interesting information. But, we just jumping right in. We got trades. We're breaking the upper end of the ORB. Well, we got to hold it. Got to break it. Let me actually go over here so that we can trade my account. We're going to trade the 56 account. I haven't made any trades today, guys, because I've been watching Sam trade, which has been a lot of fun. Nope, no trade over here. Shit, where's my? Okay, let me set the ORB here for just one sec. The New York ORB down 8, down 9. Okay, there we go. There's the New York ORB. So the green line is the upper end of the range. The red line is the lower end of the range, right? What I would have loved is if we broke the upper end of the range with a A2 A2 signal. That would have been a long, but it didn't. It failed. And actually now we're back into the range. And the way I'm going to look at this price action and what I want to do is we have a negative. This is they're killing it. We have a negative dot over here in the range. The next candle, if it's a red dot candle, I'm selling it. We're back in range. I just need a confirmation on the next candle that we make fresh lows. Then I'm selling it. We're actually moving, right into the mid range of the thing. We basically unwound this whole big spike, and now are trading back down. And what would be a super negative thing for all of the longs is if we start breaking down the lows over here, the 930 lows, and the super negative would be coming out of the ORB range. But like for right now, everything is negative. A2 red in the range. It's all confirmed. Let's see if we get any kind of movement. The other good thing is the moving averages are pretty wide to each other, so we have lots and lots of room to trade. Now it's just a matter of waiting patiently for the close of this candle so we get a good execution. And if the dot goes away, then we got no trade. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second short. We're short here. Not a bad execution. Not a bad entry trade here. And you know what I'm going to try and do? I'm actually see if I can move myself to mid. See if I can get myself done at mid. So sellers pressed, but the buyers bought at mid. This is the mid-range level. A lot of two-way price action. I have a 20 stop, so I could easily get stopped out because it's a tight stop. But we're still underneath the range. We came down into the ORB, so we are kind of negative bias for the time being. I'm short 71s. Am I going to publish a link after you complete building a SAM.trader system? I'm not really. It's not a SAM.trader. It's our .trader system. The link is the link. Oh, we got stopped out. Did not work. Okay, so interesting. Okay, so sellers probe. Now we go back up. And buyers have the flow. So now I'm going to wait patiently. If they really did reverse this, great. Let's give it a shot the other way. Here's the link to the dots system over here for everybody. Okay, I'm going to wait patiently here. See if they can reverse the flows. Nope, still staying in the range. We just got clipped out at the highs. Just bad luck. Let's see how we trade. No move. Still staying. We're staying in the upper end of the ORB range, kind of holding the mid. So honestly, if we start going up, that's a pretty bullish bias here. But I got to see some green dots for us to get interested. It right now it's just literally no man's land. The sell signal here just had no continuity, so we just wait patiently to see what the next one is going to do. Yes, I'm using dots. The dots are a signal. If we don't have the dots, we don't have a trade. So there's this whole sequence of dots that we look at. It gives us the chart gives us answers to that, and that's how we enter. That's the whole point. The dots is like a synthesis of all that information that Sam was talking about, the price information, everything else. It was really interesting how yes, if you buy an Ola account, I'll give you the MT5 scalping tool. That's how it works, Ricky. Just get any Ola account, give me a screenshot, and I'll give you the scalping tool that I showed to everybody. All right, we're still very, very choppy, man. Man, today's price action was just really, really lame. Okay. Sellers starting to build some steam. If we get two red dots in a row, that's going to be our signal. That was just bad luck. You know, we got retraced out, but I'm gonna front run this. If this stays here, I'm just gonna try to front running just to see if I'm right. And I am right. See, I was going to say, let me explain to you why I did this. And I know, I ran into the trade without explaining. But sometimes, you can't. You got to act before you do. So let me explain to you why I did this, and you guys can understand. So this was a sell signal, right? It clipped me out, but then as the price action started to go, you see that this was an accurate sell signal. I just simply got stepped out. So then my view was, okay, we have a red dot, and this red dot is lower than the close here. It actually takes out the close here, right? If that's true, that means we have negative momentum. Let me get in there before I get the second A2 dot, basically front running this move. So boom, super fast. That secondary sell signal gone. Now we can go third sell. Ugh. And we're going to get out of this position again. Just very, very quickly. Now we're going to get secondary sell signal to move. I was yapping, and I should have entered a little bit earlier, so execution was late, so we covered it. Now there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. This is the upper ORB range, mid, lower. This is the New York session. So now we're like really, really pressing everything low. And we could have taken. Yes, it's a very clever concept, Zakivito. You're brand new in the room here. I'm glad there's a lot of new people in the room here. Everybody who's new, bookmark this page. There's a ton of stuff for you there that's totally free. That's really, really cool. You guys can all enjoy it. And it gives you the basic idea. And also the most important part, it's all going to be updated. And the whole ORB.orb structure is going to be inside there as well. So you guys can be able to really understand how I trade the ORB structure, which is really, really cool. We're going to trade that on a separate account because I can't trade them both at the same time. We're breaking the lows, guys. We're breaking the fucking lows. This is amazing. I'm yapping, but this was the trade. I'm sorry. I should have taken this trade. So the only the only thing that makes me hesitate on this trade, although no, I really shouldn't. If we break in the lows and the dot stays in place, if the dot goes away, we got no trade, which it does right now. But if the dot stays in place, no, we take the trade. So 20 seconds left. Let's see what the markets are. No. All right. So they tested 25,000 and brought it back up. That was the second time they test 25,000 and brought it back up. But look at the sell volume over here. No, they keep breaking it. All right. Am I going to sell it? All right, I'm going to sell it. Maybe I'll regret it. Maybe I won't. But it is a process trade. We hit. We hold. If we have the red dot on session lows, we got to take that trade as a momentum trade. I hate taking trades too deep into the sell off. But if it's a really strong move, it's got to work. I'm gonna move my target a little bit here to see if I can get it done faster. We'll see. There we go. And we're getting very close to the 26,000. That's where I want to be. Now, here's an interesting thing. You see how the moving average separation is really getting compressed to that very, very tight zone, right? Very tight zone. This is where all of this information comes in pretty handy. So we're at 25,000 support. Moving averages are all compressed. What that's telling you is that, usually, look at the moves. Holy shit, we're really breaking the lows. Usually that's going to be a little bit of a consolidation area. But at very minimum right now, I really don't want to be taking any trades until the moving averages separate to at least 5 to 7 basis points wide. What I will take, if I get them, is if I get a trade back up into the range, back into the low end of the range. If I get the white dot green dot combo, which everybody in the room trades, super high resolution rate. But from here to there, it's a long time away, right? We may be about 5-10 minutes away from any kind of a bottoming white dot green dot signal. But you see how cool, like having the ORBs, having the sessions, having the dots all together, and look at the moving average is already getting wide. So it means massive vols. Now the vol is really taking shape, and we have all systems go for a downward move. This is so hard for me to take. You guys know I hate taking momentum trades at the lows, but if this stays red, that's a signal for us. Who's new in the room here? Come say hi to me. I see a whole bunch of people here trading with us today. It's really nice to see that. And if you're new, do me two favors. If you're enjoying the content, subscribe to the channel. Really, it'll make all the difference in the world. You'll know exactly when all the really cool events are happening. You'll know exactly when I'm trading live, when we have special guests, all the really cool stuff. So just, if nothing else, just hit the subscribe button on YouTube. If you're on X, just move your ass to YouTube for just 1 second and subscribe. We put out a really good content most of the time, and I trade live every day, so you can see me do this all day long. All right, big pop, right? They really held the bottom over here. Now back into the ORB session. Now this is where the rubber hits the road. We got 23 seconds left. We got a white dot. The most important part is, are they going to be able to hold the ORB? Are they going to be able to hold the zone? If it drops back out, no, not a trade. But if the candle holds, and more importantly, we get a second candle that confirms that they're holding the range, that's very bullish for us. That is a clean reversal signal. So let's see. Second candle, we get a green dot here. We want to go long. If we don't get a green dot here, we got nothing. That's fine. We'll stay patient. We do know that clearly the 960 now is acting as support. We know that this is the area of attraction where where the buyers want to hold this. If they can hold this level above, then they're going to squeeze the shorts. So far, no go, but we'll wait. Hey, Mr. Canada, nice to have you. Hi, Pips King, nice to have you. Nice to have everybody. All right, 9 seconds left. We got no trade, but we're going to watch this. Next candle gives us a green dot. We go. We go, we go, we go. Moving average separation pretty decent at 9 basis points. Doesn't even matter if it compresses because the volatility is just still pretty good. 44 seconds. Can they hold that red line? It makes it really easy to like kind of see where where the key points of support and resistance are, right? So they're falling out of the ORB zone so far. They can't hold the red line. Big failure. If this stays like this, even though it's not a signal, I'm definitely going to go short because I think that means that they're failing on the move here. At 25,000. All right. Let's see if we can get the move down. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Get me out. Ah, fuck. I just missed. Fuck. That would have been sweet. Come on. Get down there. All right, there we go. I'll take a 20. Nice little scalp, almost at 26,000 on this. I'm front running this trade. I front run the trade. I cheated, but it was a good cheat. We get it now. We have a signal, A2 signal, but it's right into the session lows. So I'm not about to sell this into the session lows. So yeah, I kind of cheated because what the price action told me is that we couldn't hold the ORB, but a nice big red dot against it. Fuck it, let's go, and that worked nicely. The momentum worked very nicely. Is this thing going to go to session lows? Probably. Is this a decent trade? Probably. I just don't have the stomach to trade into the session lows. Those of you guys who are taking it, going to just bank it down. So we're holding that double bottom at 96. What I'm really interested in now is actually, if we do hold it, can we get a white dot, green dot? Can we get a reversal trade here? Like a beautiful reversal trade would be a white dot, green dot back up into the ORB to give us some reversal moves. If they're going to crush it, they're going to crush it. I think much lower here, which they are. I really wimped out on this short. I should have shorted this more. Those of you guys who are trading momentum are killing it right now, right? You guys know I'm just the worst momentum trader. I hate trading momentum. But this was great. This was decent. This is still pretty decent. The chop signals are in here. I just took them off. Everything can be turned back on, Ben. You can have the chop signals too. But my view is the single best indicator of chop or trend is this. You see how this is green? Like, see how it gave you all the signals you want. Like the very fact that this getting wider at 15 base points it's just all systems go for non-chop. Chop conditions is when the two moving averages are stuck together like glue. When they're unstuck, it doesn't matter whether you go up or down. You're gonna get movement. So this gave me enormous amount of confidence that this is a these are good trades. All right, now we're popping off the lows. Big white dot. Let's see what it wants to do. Do we get a white dot, green dot trade? and give it some time. It'd be unusual for this thing to like verticalize in a V, but if it does, that'll be a great signal for us. All right, let's see how we trade. We should consolidate. I mean, so far, this is the session lows against which we trade. A2 signal here coming up. 41 seconds left. Let's see if this holds. $28. Waiting for the candle to close to see if this signal is legit. Six, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. All right, we're in. Big pop. I might get retraced out because this is a big pop, but let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. I'm going to try and get myself right under the ORB level. Let's see if I can get myself out of here. Let's see if I can extend a little bit more. There we go. There we go. There we go. Oh. What do we see? What do we see? Hold on. Fuck. All right. Here we go. What do we see? What did I say I was going to do? I'm going to take the 30 count to 26. Boom. Very nice. Very nice, guys. Good job, everybody who's trading. This is a super valuable new insight for us with the ORB levels, but even without them, we were just trading the A2s is what really drove all the flow for us. Otherwise it was just really great. Does the BF dots on it works on other time frames and instruments and so on and so forth. We trade the NQ. It works on gold really, really well. Look at that. Now we're going back now we're going into the ORB zone. So this becomes really interesting because if this is a true bottom, right? If it's a true bottom, we're going to hold through the ORB zone and then try to come back up, right? If this just simply runs in here and comes back down, we're just chopping. We're chopping, and my bias would still pretty much be much more negative. But if the next 4 or 5 candles can hold the ORB zone, that's pretty bullish. That means we could have a run back up. This was sort of all she wrote as a double bottom on the move. So very cool. I mean, I love the new structure. Very, very simple. Everything makes it very, very clean and easy for us to see. I'll work on these indicators. As far as the new version of dots, that's going to be Tony, is it an F6? Is there an F16 plane? Do we have an F16? I think there's an F16, right? It's going to be the F16 version. I think that's going to be it. Otherwise, we're going to update it to whatever the airplane model is. But yeah, wonderful, guys. Everybody have a great day. So much fun to have Sam on. Ben says yes. Okay, so we're gonna update it to F16. I'm just gonna clean up a few things because the whole thing about the F16 is it's gonna be totally modular. You can turn on, turn off anything and everything. So it can be a very, very dense chart or a super clean chart like I have now. But everything will be underneath the hood for you to configure. The dots ORB indicator, that's gonna be a separate story, and we'll release that in a week or so for everybody who's in coaching. And then I'm going to give a shot to everybody to get that for free with our friends at ACAP. Otherwise, I think I'm going to trade with you guys. I said I wasn't sure, but I think I am going to trade tonight Asia. We're going to trade the ORB in gold, which will be really interesting. We'll trade that on the Ola side, and We'll see how it goes. I have 2 F-16s less. Yes, until the F-47 comes. Seriously, it's F-16, then it's an F-47? Is that what that is? Oh my God. All right, whatever it is, I hope they bomb the living fuck out of the Strait of Hormuz and this thing is over tomorrow so that we can all have a normal life. All right, guys. Everybody have a great day, great evening. I'm gonna probably trade Asia, so watch for the link. Everybody who's watching us, just subscribe to the channel. We do this every single day. We scalp every single day. You can see, how much fun it is and how much profit everybody banks out. So really, really great. Thank you, guys. Everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.